Adobe Allegorithmic. What does this mean?
Putting this shit away. There's too much stuff. Okay. Adobe has acquired Allegorithmic. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly, which means at some point in the future, your Adobe subscription is going to come with Substance Painter and Substance Designer and all of the Substance stuff, at least in theory.
If you are unfamiliar with Substance, I guess the elevator pitch is that the Substance toolset allows you to paint directly on a 3D model and also create materials that will behave as they would in real life when you import them into whatever gaming engine you're using, like Unity or something custom made or anything like that. It's called PBR. I think it stands for physics-based rendering or physical-based rendering. I think it's physics or physical, one of those. It's a P word. But basically it means that if you take a high-res photo of a real-world material and import that into a Substance Designer, you can get something that behaves like a piece of wood or a rusted piece of iron or a piece of metal.
Look at this rusty metal, stuff like this. You can take some high-res photos of it and turn it into a material. You can paint with the rust. You can paint with all the lichen. And then you can stick that into your favorite game engine, and then you'd have a rusty, lichen-covered, I don't know, maybe you put it on a robot.
And then import it into a gaming engine and everything will behave like if it was rusted or shiny or whatever like that. So it's pretty cool. It's a very powerful tool set. So I came up with a very primitive demonstration of what I'm talking about. I did this without remembering to hit the record button. So please ignore the pre-cuts on this object I'm about to demonstrate. So let us pretend that you have decided that you want to make a cup of diabetes. And let's also pretend that there's no branding on this whatsoever. It's just a gray cup that you modeled in whatever program like Maya or Max or whatever. Now, traditionally, to texture it and to put all this branding stuff on it, you have to lay out the UV coordinates. So you have to take this 3D object, flatten it out in a 2D space, and then take those UVs, import it into something like Photoshop, paint your textures, and then rewrap it. So, all right, so now we have the bottom of the cup and we have our flat surface, and we can now paint whatever design we want to. Maybe we want the kernel, maybe we don't want the kernel, maybe we want to like do our own off-brand KFC whatchamahootsits. And then you have to import that into your 3D program to see what it's going to look like on your model. So, you know, there are workflows where you can paint directly in Photoshop and it'll update in real time on your other program, but you know, the implementations have always been kind of wonky, so. But in Substance and tools like Substance, you can paint directly on the 3D object itself without having to lay out the coordinates and the paint in here. I mean, you still have to lay out the UVs, but you don't have to paint in a flat surface. You can paint in 3D. So let's demonstrate that. See if we could do this here. I didn't expect it to be so drippy, but okay. So yeah, you can paint directly on your object in Substance. And the neat thing is, you see how it's chrome in the light? In Substance, you could actually make that section of your object, chrome or whatever. If you wanted it to be a rusty metal, or if you want it to be a wood texture, you can also paint with those and then import that into a 3D engine, and it will show up as like, you know, this wouldn't just be chrome paint, it would actually be metal. Look at him trying to shoot to the heavens. Great. So hopefully that explanation demo made sense? Maybe? Adobe and Allegorithmic work together to come up with the PBR standards that the industry is using now. So I guess if you were reading the tea leaves, this acquisition isn't that much of a surprise, but it kind of threw me for a loop.
I guess now it's time for Totoro tinfoil hat speculation time. I'm kind of surprised by this announcement. Adobe doesn't really have a 3D modeling program in their suite of tools. And Substance is fine, and it's very powerful on its own, and you can make a lot of materials, but like, there's nothing in the Adobe suite right now that you can actually create the models. They have a couple of tools where you can preview stuff, or you can put labels on paint cans or soda cans or products and stuff like that, but you have to create the model somewhere else, import it into an Adobe thing, and then, you know, use it in Photoshop or whatever. So it's kind of curious. It's like it's not necessarily putting the cart before the horse, but at some point you need the 3D model. And I guess they're assuming that you've subscribed to the other elephant in the room, Autodesk. Autodesk has, I remember a time when Autodesk did not own both 3D Studio Max and Maya. Now they do, and they have CAD and all that kind of stuff. So maybe Adobe figures, well, if you're in a production house that is using Substance, you're probably already subscribed to one of these other packages. So let's snatch up the other end of the production process and take care of all the texturing. You know, maybe next year, Adobe is going to announce that they've acquired a 3D modeling package somewhere. Like Blender is free, so you can model stuff in Blender and then dump it into Substance and render it out and stuff. I think you can also animate in Blender. So you model your thing in Blender, get it into Substance, texture it all up nice and pretty, render it out of Blender, and then dump it into After Effects for shining it up. And then, man, you can pretty much make a movie with the entire Adobe suite and a 3D modeling program. I'm pretty conflicted. On the one hand, I think it's great for studios to have one less license to worry about. And me personally, I was looking at buying a perpetual license of Substance at some point and just living with an older version. And now I don't have to worry about it because I'm already paying for the Creative Cloud. And later this year, I'm gonna get access to all the Substance stuff so I can bide my time. But I kind of worry about the consolidation of all of our tools into one thing. I know you can go out and you can get replacements for pretty much everything in the Creative Cloud and all that kind of stuff. But man, like, I don't know how to feel. It's sort of like Disney buying up Marvel and Star Wars and now Fox and just controlling all the stuff. Getting all your tools at one place, I guess is great because in the long run, it's more affordable. I just hope that the acquisition means that they're still allowed to innovate and make new stuff, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the PBR stuff, the physical-based rendering stuff, gets integrated into some of the other products. Like, I could definitely see a use for PBR in After Effects. I never thought that Adobe would be that interested in the 3D space because, like, even the 3D integrations into Photoshop, they're okay, but it's always slow. Like, if you import a model, all of a sudden Photoshop forgets that you're on a fast machine and just chugs along. Like, you turn around to Canon, it's like, grr, grr, grr. So like, the integrations for 3D are there, but they're not the best. So I figured it was just something that they were playing around with and hadn't quite figured out. With this, it seems like Adobe actually does give a shit about 3D creation and is trying to leverage it a little bit more. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear late this year or early next year that Adobe comes out with their own modeling program. which would be pretty interesting. Ooh. If you want to get a jump start on learning Substance right now, they have a free 30-day trial that you can download. It's fully featured, and if a dum-dum like me can figure out how to use it, pretty sure you can. And if you're already subscribed to the Creative Cloud, just wait till the end of the year when they start integrating it and you can figure it out. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think. Interesting times. Interesting times that we're living in, all right? And it's fucking cold, so I'm gonna go back into my car and go home. All right, so thanks for watching, and subscribe and share with your friends. Let me know if you're using Substance already or if you texture in another program, and how you feel about all of our tools being consolidated into one thing. Let me know how you feel. I'm not sure how I feel yet. All right, check you later. Bye.